So guess what? I somehow managed to piss off the internet by simply making an observation. Last night, I was looking for a new show to watch. I'm always looking for shows to watch with my wife, right? My wife watches a lot of rom-coms and things like that. She loves watching Christmas shows, but very rarely do we have an opportunity to watch shows together. And last night we had an opportunity to watch something. So we're always looking for new shows. We like action shows, but I'm also very intrigued by the time period between, like, just personally, between the, like, after the Civil War, but before the Industrial Revolution, right? I think that time period is really, really fascinating. So come to my surprise that there's a new series on Netflix called Death by Lightning. And it's all about the assassination of Garfield, who was a U.S. president at the time. And it's a special 4-episode series, little limited run thing. And I thought, wow, something about the president, something about an assassination in this set time period. Sounds like something that'd be really fun to watch, right? So we started watching it, and I was immediately caught off guard probably about 3 or 4 minutes in when I saw this establishing shot here. And it, like, by the way, this was not just a me thing. This is like my wife noticed it as well. But I just stopped to look at it. She just kind of like let it go. But I saw it and I was like, what? And I saw this. It was an establishing shot. And the closer I looked at it, the more ridiculous it got.
It's like every black person in Chicago was there.
Well, almost every Asian woman in Chicago is here. And I wanted to go through here because people will say I like spent way too much time on this. What in reality, what happened was ChatGPT spent a lot of time on this, right? But I noticed this and I thought, wow, what an incredibly diverse group of people here. And you'll notice there's an Asian woman who is very well dressed, by the way, on the left side of your screen here. You have a black man. Literally what's that?
She was imported.
Well, we'll get to that.
Passport, bro.
This is amazing. Like, the likelihood of this happening is not even close to reality, right? And people will say, well, hey, isn't this supposed to be is this supposed to be real? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But you have this black guy here who's dressed to the T's, another black guy and his wife, assumingly dressed to the T's. I'm assuming a soldier, a disabled person here who is getting around on his crutches. By the way, tough doing so with gravel here. And keeping in mind, this is coming off of the fire that burnt Chicago down. Right. So, and it's very well constructed. Right. So I went in and I was very intrigued by this. First and foremost, this establishing shot. So I just asked, I pulled up ChatGPT and I said, like, I uploaded this picture and I said, what was the likelihood of this, the exact words I used were motley crew people coming together. And it pretty much told me this, right? The population was just over 500,000. The black population, about 6,500. Chinese population, 172. But it digs even deeper here. Chinese woman, 5 in the entire city.
Wow. Yeah, because they were workers. Right.
Yes. So if you ran the math on this, it was about 0.00016% of this actually happening at any given time, right? Which is a 1 in 640,000 shot. Now, here's the thing. I actually miscalculated this because I didn't notice the black lady in the background here, right? I just noticed this guy, and this lady here. So I went back and ran it.
Just really racist and kind of sexist. You didn't see her.
You just thought it was a shadow. Yeah, no, it's a person.
Wow, that's funny.
That's how Craig sees all black people, as shadows.
You are racist.
Oh, no. So I actually noticed the 2 black guys and the white woman, and not just the 2 again. So the math was reran, right? And having all these people in one place that close to each other was about a 1 in 2.4 million shot. Now, once again, I didn't do this. This is totally ChatGPT. And by the way, ChatGPT also wrote these tweets. I said, hey, here is what I'm thinking. Please put this in an easily digestible tweet. And it did it very well, right? So then I noticed the dress of the Chinese woman and her looking incredibly nice. And ChatGPT was like, no, this would be straight up impossible. Like, literally not possible, as there were 5 Chinese women in the entire city, none mingling publicly, and certainly not strolling down arm in arm with anyone outside of Chinatown, Right?
I just like this autistic downward spiral as your family is just trying to enjoy a movie. You're doing all these calculations.
Right.
Were you like pausing the movie being like, yo, no, honey, this is actually incorrect. Here's what happened.
No, what happened was I paused. It was
left.
It was just me and my
They
wife.
got up to leave.
Well, my wife was casually watching. She was doing something for her work. She was like getting prepped for the week. And I paused the movie like right then. And I was like, huh. So I went down it took me about 15 minutes to
You think maybe what is that footage? Is it AI, you think?
No, I think that they actually got real actors
extras,
and they're extras, and they did a couple establishing shots on a green screen. And
Oh,
like,
okay. But instead of using real footage, they had to fake it to make more diverse olden times.
Right.
That's insane.
So what's interesting about this though is like, look, if you want to do that, that's fine. That's fine. And we'll get to kind of my real issue with this. Like, my issue is not that there's an Asian guy, an Asian woman, a couple black. I don't care about that, right? But the reason why I think this is just insane is that it's just so blatantly tokenized because the rest of the show is pretty accurate, right?
What's the name of this show? I thought it was like a documentary or something, the way you were talking about it.
Well,
I've never heard of it.
Okay, well, here's the thing, Flash. It's called Death by Lightning. It was just released on Netflix. But this is the first thing you see when you open the show. This is a true story about two men the world forgot. One was the 20th president of the United States. The other shot him. So it establishes literally at the beginning of the show, this is true. Okay? So it's...
Well, they do this shit. This is Netflix, right? They do this shit all the time. They've made like historical kings and queens like black people.
Didn't they make Cleopatra black?
I think so. And they even had that lady, that grandma. I don't care what any of y'all say. Cleopatra was black. My grandma told me that shit.
I put this out there, and naturally people are going to read whatever they want to read. But I said this, I don't care if a black man or Chinese woman are walked together on screen. That's not the issue. What's ridiculous is how blatantly tokenized this is. This shot isn't a part of the story. It's just tossed in. It's just tossed in to check a few boxes. Like, the rest of Death by Lightning sticks pretty historically accurate because every delegate, every politician is white. They all have the same beard. They look like the timepiece. And then suddenly there's this establishing shot, and Netflix just drops this diverse mix into it, which is not even remotely impossible. It's not that there's representation. It's that it's just lazy tokenism. Like,
well, it's the equivalent of if you had a period piece drama and it was sponsored by Gatorade and everyone's wearing a Gatorade shirt and drinking Gatorade. It kills the illusion of the time period. It's clearly done on purpose.
Like, if you want to make someone if you want to make a politician in it, like Asian or black or whatever, that's your prerogative. But it just seems so lazy. That's my issue with the whole thing. If you want to totally throw in your agenda, do it. It's up to the audience to decide whether or not they're going to watch it or not. But it makes it even worse when you're just kind of thrown in a run-of-the-mill bullshit establishing shot. Well, we checked all the boxes. Look, there's the person who had his leg blown off. There's the Asian woman. There's the black guy. And by the way, did I mention he's gay? Like, that's
it probably is, though, to be fair.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I'm any one of these groups, I would be insulted. And that's the thing that bothers me most about this. And people are going to look, I can't believe you have way too much time on your hands. I'm like, I don't understand how people can look at this and say that that's racist when I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of it. The idea of, like, aren't you tired of being tokenized? That's the whole idea here, is we want diversity. And do you think that some Asian woman is watching this show and be like, I feel represented now because I was established there's an Asian woman walking down the street in 1880. Like, that's fucking insulting to anybody. It's like if I was to have some show about historically black whatever, and then they have a generic white guy walking in the foreground or the background of an establishing shot that never would have been there. It's insulting. It's stupid. It shouldn't be there to begin with. If you're going to, especially, and I go back to the beginning of the show, don't say this is a true story, because you said true at the start of the show, establishing that there is a truthful narrative throughout the entire time. And I understand there's the suspension of disbelief. And it's funny, Neon from Clownfish just DM'd me. He said that they're trying to community note my post now, which is hilarious, because they're trying to community note the post for citing, quote, suspension of disbelief. But they never actually addressed the makeup of Chicago back then. So it's amazing to see. Y'all's thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm not.
It's
Netflix. Yeah.
Look, let's say you had during slavery times, you're like, well, we want to give black people empowerment. So during that time period, they're all like presidents and like mayors and shit like that. Well, then you've downplayed the effects of the horrors of slavery. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't alter. There's a reason that history happened, and you should show it accurately, especially if you're saying that this is a truthful story here, which you assume, okay, this is going to be to the best of its ability, historically accurate as possible. There's a reason why things happened in history, and you shouldn't downplay them. It's history for a reason, and we can learn from history. But if you alter history, we can't learn from it, good or bad. You're muted.
Should we tell him?
There's a lot of comments on this. Obviously, you see, like this guy David Wong says, of all the anachronisms you see from the show, the first one you stands out to you is and make you dig into it. It says a lot about your personality, right?
Like, it says a lot about the showrunners who inserted it, specifically hired and inserted it as well. You could say the reverse.
I'm just fascinated by the response to this, where I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, I think it's ridiculous because it's so tokenized. And you're saying that I'm racist for saying that if you want to put an Asian woman as a delegate, go ahead. That's fine. I'm actually fighting for your cause more than you are, but you are so blinded by your hatred and racism that you don't see it. And that's the most amazing thing about the whole thing.
There's no logic to that, man. You could have had a video of you smelling your own fart and it would have been considered racist. So,
well, maybe we'll do that next time. We'll release that.
Yeah, that's what I was hinting at.
Yes. Just an entire series of
just your family trying to enjoy a movie and you're just trying to take whiffs. That's what you're doing.
Oh my God. So there you go. That's why the internet is mad at me today. Epsilon says, don't bend the knee. Why would I bend the knee? Bend the knee for what? Pointing out data? Pointing out historical facts? Okay, go ahead. Like, I'm not going to bend the knee. For what? It's ridiculous. Blabs, am I totally off base here?
No, I don't think so. But the best thing to do as a solution for all this bullshit, and I think Phoenix put it in your Twitter yesterday, just get rid of your Netflix at this point. So okay, and that's a common response. And the vast majority of time, I would agree with you. Here's the issue I have with that is we run a show about pop culture, and we do have to have some sort of idea of what's happening in, outside of the competitors and or alternatives, right? So I feel like I need to have access to these things. Like, I don't pay for Disney Plus. I use Disney Plus, but I don't pay for it, right? And we're resourceful when it comes to these things, So sail in the seas.
What it is. But there's a lot of Captain Jack making their way around the Skistimus household, which is totally fine. So got another video for you right here. Go to watch it. It's a good one.